keep your eye out on that one. And if you really love this particular car, it gives a lot of great options and it's a beautiful kit at the same time. Hello, this is BJ from Hearns Hobbies, and today I'm going to be having a look at this particular kit, which I think is going to be a favorite of a lot of people. This is the AE86 Toyota from the Initial D series. So this particular franchise is about drift racing, and this is one of the hero cars. So this is the car of Fujiwara Takumi, and it's quite famous because it's got this old Toyota 86. It also has the tofu shop, which if I can find where it is, right over here. So that's a family tofu shop that they use. It's not really for sponsorship, it's actually used as a delivery vehicle when it's not being raced. So this is a 1/24 scale kit by Aoshima, and this particular kit comes with a few extras. So it also comes with a resin cast figurine of Takumi, and also a drink holder and other bits and pieces apparently. So let's see what all that's about, and let's crack it open and have a close look at all the parts. All right, so here we go. Got this really nice, oh, I think we're out of focus here. There we go, we're in focus now. So artwork is really nice. It's got that original animation finish. So you can see this nice little shot here from inside the car. Then you have the AE86 on the outside in front of a Lancer. Now it looks like an Evo 4 or 5, I think. Could be a 3. Bit stylized. So this is for the 25th anniversary of Initial D. Initial D has been running for quite some time in animation and also in manga, which is comic books. Okay, so let's open it up, have a look. All right, so there's our box of bits. And being a 24 scale kit, it has a very traditional sort of arrangement and how it gets constructed. So I'll put this aside and we'll have a look at the individual parts as we go. All right, let's start off with the bodywork. Okay, so bodywork, it's a very nice indeed, a very traditional one-piece type body. The thing is, this is going to have, the bumpers are separate. So this is not one of the newest molded toolings. So they don't have really sophisticated tooling where it's split molded and it can do all the bumpers as well in one go. So bumpers are going to be separate, front bumpers separate, there will be engine detail. It has this panel here at the moment, that's to help with strength while it's molding. This will be removed later so you can have access to the engine bay. It also has the various bonnets and then the flip up lights as well, which will flip. All right, so there's the body, very crisp. Even though it's not the newest kit, it's very clean, there's no flashing anywhere. And all the side detail is all super smooth and the panel lines are very even. Okay, and I quite like white. Quite often you'll get cars which are molded in various shades of silver and yellow and black, which I really dislike because when you're painting them, they can affect your finish. So white is one of the best ones for doing so. All right, so there's your bodywork. All right, now we have this bag here. There is actually a variety of different sprues in here. So the obvious ones are the white ones, they're the bumpers. You have the front bumper with the apron and then the rear bumper. So there's the rear one there. And then on this side, which is a bit harder to see, these are all the black molded components. So you have the wheels inside, and then the engine block is here. There's the two halves of the engine block. The cam covers, and then from what I can tell, it looks like it's the extractors. Some of the suspension components, mainly engine here. You've got the arrangement of pulleys and belts on this side here. Okay, that's quite nice because quite often these particular cars, kits are what you call as curbside. So curbside being that it doesn't have any engine detail, but this one has full interior and engine detail, which is nice. All right, here we have the clear components. A bit hard to see, I guess, but you've got the front windshield, rear windshield, and side glass. It's all molded in one piece. Now, some of the later kits will have all these as separate components. One piece, I think, makes it very simple to construct because you just need to apply glue to the top. Very little chance of any glue on the sides actually getting onto the glass itself and marking it. Negative, I guess, would be you have to make sure that this fits perfectly inside the bodywork, because if it doesn't, you'll find gaps around there. So that's probably a good idea to check that first. And then if it is slightly warped, which can happen because you've got all your A pillar, C pillar, and B pillar are quite thin. You can readjust that with some hot water. So we've got our main glass there, and then there's also some lenses here for your fog lights, then also for your headlights. Okay, so here we go with another multi-piece sprue. Now there's a white set and a black set. They're actually the same. So you either have your choice of a white bonnet, because the various versions of the particular car in the animation and the manga, you could have a white bonnet or the black bonnet. So you have your choices here. So they have the headlight covers available in white or black, and then the bonnet white or black. That makes it a bit easier. Particularly if you're not really into painting, or I guess if you want a base, then painting black onto white can take some more coats, so you have your options. On this side we have the seats. They're also molded in black, so the racing type seats. Bucket style, so very tight around the sides. But then underneath that, I don't think it's going to be so easy to get to. There's a set of chrome parts too. So the disc brakes have been chromed, they're on this side. And then you have the muffler, and the rear vision mirror glass. That's on this side. It's a very, very shiny chrome. Okay. From there we move into this small part here. So multiple pieces again. You see this tinted yellow part. This is actually the yellow tinting for the fog lights. You have another chrome piece here. These are the chromed windshield wipers. And then on the back there's another black section, and that has the front shock absorber brace, which rice burners have to make it react faster. There's the lenses here, which for the fog lamps, so you just need to paint silver. Steering wheel, and then what else is there? Some other part too, which I don't recognize. So 3 different components in that bag. As we move along, another black section. Actually, maybe I should have. Let's do this. Let's make it a bit easier, wouldn't it? So black sections, you've got the aprons here, or side skirts I should say. These go along the side of the car. There's a rear wing. And then you have your option of mud flaps as well. So rubber mud flaps. So available for the front and the rear. Okay, here we go with a big bag of bits. So mainly the interior parts, they're all molded in brown. So we have the dashboard on this side, and then you've got the sections for the interior tub. So this is the base here, might be able to just see it there. And then there's the sides as well. So they're the interiors of the doors that glue together and make your little tub. Little parcel shelf over here. Original seats are included as well, which obviously you won't be using in this particular kit because it's set up for racing. So there's a headrest there as well, which you won't use. Different steering wheel, foot pedals, steering column, and then gear shift lever areas. Also inside, which is difficult to see, is the packet of tires, and they're rubber, and also the poly caps are in there too. So the poly caps allow the wheels to actually rotate without any glue. Okay, so that's that big. And then we've got a final bag of plastic parts. So here you can see the tinted clear parts for the brake lights. So it's nice that they're tinted red already. It saves you from painting the red, which can be difficult because transparent colors need to paint it on very evenly to make them look nice. There's also the orange parts as well for the indicators. Underneath you can see the floor pan. So floor pan of the chassis, and then you have the interior tub mounts here, and then the engine just mounts into this section here. So there's quite a bit of interior detail just in the engine bay. And then there's a larger section of parts on the bottom here, which is all in black. These are all the lower chassis components. So you have the engine cover, or I should say a skid plate. You have your suspension components with the shocks. There's also the covers for the flip-up headlights, the front uprights, like first and strut, and then there's some trailing arms for the rear end, and there's also a set of windshield wipers there in black, if you so choose to use them. Now apart from that, the very special part is, just try and get to that, there's this flesh coloured parts here, and these are actually the resin cast parts for the driver. So that's Fujiwara Takumi right there. And with these, because it's resin, you just need to use some super glue or some instant cement to glue that together, because normal plastic cement won't glue that. And they'll test your abilities of painting. So all that together is going to make it into a very nice, almost semi-diorama. All you need to do is make a roadside base, like you're drifting around a mountain, and you'll be pretty much complete. All right, so that's all the plastic parts. Now with that, we've got this little packet here, which is the decals. So you've got various decals for the side of the car, which has got the Fujiwara Tofu Mise written on the side, which is the tofu shop. And then you have options for the various Initial D logos for the license plates. And then there's smaller items as well, some logos. You got Toyota badges, and probably the instrument panel dials as well. So it's in there. And then we get into the manual. Okay, so we've got our manual here. On the front, multi-language. So these basically are important steps to look out for, safety measures and such. And then we'll open up here. Let's just zoom in a little bit so I can get closer. All right, so this is going to be a folding type one. So on this side, we have the color guide here, and traditional color guide is with the GSI paints or Mr. Hobby. And then we have where all the decals go here. That's your decal guide. All right, so here we go. We start with the first steps. So floor pan here gives an idea of how to paint the various gearbox and exhaust components. And then we start making the front suspension. So you have your front uprights here with disc brake going in. Construction of the steering rod. And then we move on to the base of the engine here. So front suspension. So you've got the McPherson struts getting put in with the springs. And then this is the skid plate going over the top there. The rear diff is getting done now. So I should add that this particular car was the last Corolla, because this is a Corolla series that had rear wheel drive. So after this was all front wheel drive. And so hence why a lot of the drifters like this particular car, because it's an older car that has good performance, rear wheel drive, which adds to that drifting performance. And also because of the older car, it would have been quite cheap. So we move on to doing the rear suspension. So the rear diff is going in. So a rear solid axle, struts going on, exhaust. And then on this side, we're putting it on the wheels in preparation of doing the engine detail. So we have the radiator, the engine block halves being put together, carburetors on the side. And then you have the head, extractors, belt with the alternator. Let me fold this out to here. So engine's getting put in, radiator, and then you have your brake booster, various other parts, the battery, and then there's the strut, which goes over the top of all of that. From there, we're putting in the clear components into the bodywork. So there's that single piece that's dropping in, and then the interior gets started here. So we have the instrument panel, so a dashboard with the column and then the steering wheel. And then you've got your options here. So this is where the drink holders come in. And that's a very important part. So do you go for the flat drink holder or you go for the round one? I don't know. I'm a bit mixed up with that one. And then over here, that's the painting guide for the dashboard. And then let's just flick this over this way. Getting into the interior. So what we've got here is, okay, so they actually give you two of the racing seats. So you'll have your options of doing two racing seats if you want. But I guess it makes sense that there's one racing seat for the driver and a regular seat for the passenger. And then that's all put together with dashboard goes in, the side panels for the door interiors go together to make the interior tub. This is the construction of the front lights. So these are flip-up lights, and when you glue them on, I think they do flip. So from what I can gather here, it looks like they've been hinged. From there, you've got the windshield wipers, front bumper with the fog lights going in. And then here you have your choices of the bonnet. So you can either choose the white one or the black one. Again, that was early over here as well with the covers for the headlights. Then the front bumper goes on with the front apron. You've got your indicators on the side, rear vision mirrors, and then a rear bumper. From there, we're getting close to the end. So this is the rear lights. These are the clear red tail lights. And then you just need to paint a section silver to act as a reflector, and then the clear orange can go over the top of that to be the indicator. So once they're glued in place, that interior tub is mounted into the floor pan. So you can see the engine there, and then the bodywork just gets clipped on the front and the back. And the very last thing that you do is paint up your figure. So being resin, again, you need to use instant cement, super glue, cyanoacrylate. This section here, this is the breakdown of all the components that's included in this particular kit. So over here you can see there's a resin figure of Takumi, and then you've got all the various bits and pieces, and there's actually a lot of parts have included for a 24 scale car. Normally they won't have this many parts, but you can see here where it's been blanked off, like little grey parts. Now they're the parts that you're not going to use for this particular kit because they're common with a standard type car. So after going through all the bits and pieces, it looks like a really, really good project. Particularly if you like this franchise of anime. It's very popular amongst the youngsters, and I think it looks really good. So there's a box there, right way up. So this is my open box review of the Aoshima 124 scale Initial D AE86 Toyota. And this is the car that's driven by Fujiwara Takumi, and a resin figure is also included. So it's a very special, rare kit, I think, these days to have figures included. So keep your eye out on that one. And if you really love this particular car, it gives a lot of great options, and it's a beautiful kit at the same time. So thank you for watching.